You read the title, I'm here to fight. People don't respect the 7th Prince enough, or as my buddy Chance likes to call it, I'm the 7th Prince, but I'm built like a thick Latina. And it's just not right for a show this good to be getting so little hype. So hello, and welcome back to Binging Last Season, where I attempt to become the king of Slop Mountain. Before we start, I want you guys to know that I will be doing everything in my power here to make sure that you understand how good the 7th Prince is. And in order to do that, I will be spoiling Season 1 like an absentee father that just got back with the milk. So if you haven't seen Season 1 yet, what are you waiting for? Go watch it. And if you have seen Season 1 and you want to hear my opinion on Season 2, this is a good place for that. And if you don't care about spoilers at all, alright. Sure, man. Whatever. I was reincarnated as the 7th Prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability is a long title. Shut up. Our main character, Lloyd, was a magic-obsessed commoner with absolutely no affinity for magic, and he died and was reincarnated as the 7th Prince with, like, the most affinity for magic, like, well beyond human levels. You can see where this is going. He spends all of his time learning about magic until he sneaks into the secret no-no basement in the castle, traps a demon in his hand, and proceeds to fuck about for 6 episodes. The first half of Season 1 is a group of scattered stories, mainly around the castle, chronicling Lloyd as he ascends to godhood. And apart from the exceptional visuals, that is essentially just standard fantasy slop. It's just Lloyd going around flexing on accident, not even trying to, but flexing on everybody around him. It is just a series of flexes in every episode. It's like an old Nux video. You know, back when they were good. But if that was all it was, I wouldn't be hyping it up so much. The show really comes into its own when it gets into the Assassin's Guild arc and goes from random adventures to a centralized story with overarching themes. The Assassin's Guild are basically people with magical abilities that they can't control, and the most important one of them is their leader, Jade. You see, Lloyd doesn't care about people. It's not like he's a sociopath, he's just not interested because he's too focused on magic at any given moment. And Jade has the power of teleportation, which, mind you, he can't control, so he never even meets with Lloyd. But just one look at his magical handiwork tells Lloyd everything that he needs to know. That this is somebody that he's actually interested in, that he cares about, because this person sees magic in a unique way. It's like he's a hero to Lloyd, because yeah, Lloyd is talented with magic, but what he really cares about, the people that he really finds interesting, are the people who write the theories that he applies in his magical use. And Jade is one of those people, and this is his first time, his first opportunity to meet somebody like that. But he never does. I believe that stories are made by their villains, and I think that's the reason why this arc goes so hard. It's not just the Assassin's Guild that are devastated to lose Jade. It's Lloyd, and by extension, it's us, because they took something from Lloyd that he can't replace with his magical power, with his overwhelming strength. He can't replace a unique mind and a comrade and somebody that he could call a friend, somebody who thinks the way that he does. Somebody that rare is lost off screen. We don't even see it. And so that makes the beatdown so much more satisfying when it finally comes. Tons of anime have bad guys with overwhelming power that the protagonist has to overcome in a display of sakuga and animation budget. But none of that matters if you don't make us care about the fight to begin with. I'm looking at you, Solo Leveling. It's like you never even tried to make me give a shit. And yet here's 7th Prince doing that with 6 episodes and a dream, maintaining the visual comedy that's been present the entire series and staying true to every character that's featured in the process. This is just extremely well written and visually pleasant on top of it. I do not understand why more people don't talk about this show. And that leads us to Season 2, where Lloyd has adopted the Assassin's Guild and there are more shenanigans afoot. But is it good? Does a bear shit in the woods? I mean, like, seriously though, does it just randomly walk around and, like, how does that work? I think the best way to describe Season 2 without spoiling it would be to say it's an improvement across the board with a slightly worse villain. It was always going to be difficult to follow up the villain from Season 1 without raising the stakes in a bad way, and I'm glad they didn't fall into the trap of trying to one-up themselves by changing the fundamentals of the show. Not everything needs to be Mushoku Tensei, and frankly, I like this show more than Mushoku Tensei. I'm not even watching that anymore because, unlike most of the anime community, I don't don't like getting kicked in the balls. Season 2 maintains the more structured format from the back half of Season 1, with all of its episodes falling under the church arc. Lloyd finds out about divine magic, and by God, he is going to get it. By God, shut up. And while Lloyd is still a military power in his own right, Season 2 makes another good decision by spending more time focused on the side characters. Remember, Lloyd has a veritable menagerie at this point, between the Assassin's Guild, Silpha, Tau, Grimm, and this weird chicken. And while not every character can get their moment in the spotlight, the ones that do shine so bright. The writer did a great job at reminding us that, yeah, Lloyd may be overpowered, but the rest of his group is not to be trifled with. Season 2 did basically everything that I wanted it to do. It maintained the high quality from Season 1, it highlighted the side characters that we've grown to love, and I would go as far as to say that it's funnier than Season 1. As it turns out, low quality drawing of small face on big head is comedy gold. And this is where I would normally put my complaints if I had any. Most of them amount to, well, it could have been perfect, which is not even worth mentioning. There is a singing mechanic which I find almost universally cringe in anime, but the scenes weren't noticeably bad. They weren't difficult to sit through, and I didn't find myself wondering when they were gonna end, so I can't really consider that a complaint. I gave Season 2 of 7th Prince a 9 out of 10, the same as Season 1, because it's not perfect, but it executes on everything that matters to me at a high level. I would say that every factor here is an A+ across the board, and 7th Prince is probably the best currently airing high fantasy anime. But that's not all I watched this week, and if you really want an anime that is going to punch you in the stomach, I have a suggestion. Apocalypse Springer Mynoghra is an isekai about a 4X grand strategy player who gets reincarnated into his favorite game as the personification of doom and destruction. And that was my 40th take trying to get that line right. Jesus! He becomes the King of Ruin, the leader of Mynoghra, the most difficult faction to play and the one that he enjoyed the most as he reigned at the top of the leaderboards. And when he wakes up, he sees his favorite hero unit, Atu, who remembers him and all the time that they spent together, so there are some weird shenanigans going on here. Together they begin their quest for peace. No, I'm not joking, and yes, it obviously doesn't work out. The show stays true to 4X tropes, which I honestly appreciated. It was mostly just civilization building, diplomacy between nations, and every once in a while, when that didn't work out, some necessary violence for the sake of pacifism. And it's mostly upbeat. Yeah, there are evil things happening, but they're happening to other people, except for the 2 times when they're not happening to other people. The first time is rough. The second time is extremely rough. Look, I didn't watch Takapi's Original Sin for a reason. I avoid anime that are extremely dark, but this is conceptually one of the darkest things I've ever seen in anime and resulted in me repeatedly yelling the word no at my monitor. But that doesn't make it bad. Honestly, I thought the show was pretty solid, and my biggest complaint is the ending, because it felt rushed. They didn't need to change the tone so drastically at the end there. They could have let that hang into the follow-up season, and I still would have been locked in. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely closer to a 7 than a 9, but I really enjoyed this anime, and I'm really hoping to get a second season of it, because if you've ever played a grand strategy game, you know the first half of it is just tedious BS, but it's the second half, like at least 20 hours in, when you get a doom stack with all the best units, and that's what I want to see in Season 2. And that's all I got for you guys this week. I have an idea for a Thanksgiving video, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up on 7 seasons and a movie in 1 week, but I will do my best. I'll see you guys then.